Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dadas Show, coming to you from the historical Chester Hotel and Suites. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbune. Now, as our name suggests, the Dadas Show aspires to promote the spirit of sisterhood and solidarity amongst Kenyan women. And we do this by creating an open and a safe platform for women to discuss issues pertaining to their lifestyle, their health, their careers, their work, their family, and everything that affects them in one way or another. We also take time to acknowledge and celebrate formidable ladies who are doing it big, not only for themselves, but also for women and girls of this great nation. For us, those are our trailblazers. Now, on this Trailblazer edition of Dadas Show, I am joined by an accomplished public servant with over 2 decades experience in championing for the rights and the interests of women and girls and those of marginalized and underrepresented communities. Her efforts in promoting gender equality and inclusivity is second to none, and it's very testament in the work that she does and the projects that she's involved in. Now, who am I talking about? You'll have to wait and see. As always, we invite you to join us on all our social media platforms at Dadas Show KBC on Facebook and KBC Channel 1 across all social media platforms. Give us your take on this episode and any other episode that we may aired before, and let us hear what you think about us. What do we need to do more? What do we need to do less of? We are always ready and willing to hear from you, and we appreciate every single feedback that you give us. Now, before we meet our trailblazer of the day, let's take a look at the following feature.
Women's leadership in Kenya has come a long way. 6 women made history in Kenya during the 2022 general election for being the first women to win seats as governors and senators, with 3 women winning gubernatorial seats, which have always been won by men. Many female politicians have had to endure patriarchal and cultural barriers, lack of funding and finances, outright discrimination in political party nominations, and a lack of capacity building, among other challenges. In the face of these challenges, there are those who have spotted potential in women figures and their capacity to lead. Kenya has yet to achieve the 2/3 gender role principle in key leadership units, but more women now hold key political offices that influence decision-making at both national and county levels. The creation of the 47 counties marked the beginning of new positions, including women representatives, senators, governors, deputy governors, and members of county assembly. The assemblies have been applying the 2/3 gender role principle through nominated seats, such as Kiambu Assembly has 86 members, with 26 being nominated, 24 being women, and 2 men. Devolution has amplified the involvement of women in political leadership. In a survey conducted by Infotrack in 2023, found that women were among the top performing political leaders. Agnes Kavindu, Senator of Machakos County, was ranked best performing female senator. Nominated MPs, senators, and MCAs are crucial to Kenya's democratic framework as they represent special interest groups that may otherwise be underrepresented. Their inclusion ensures a more comprehensive representation of Kenya's diverse population in Parliament. These legislators contribute to the decision-making process, advocate for policies that address the unique needs of their respective groups, and help bridge gaps in gender, youth, and disability representation. For Dadas Show, my name is Miriam Odanga.
Welcome back. As mentioned, this is the Trailblazer edition of Dadas Show, and joining me today is Senator Hamida Kibwana, the Honorable. We will get an opportunity to interact with us, and she will share with us what it takes to be the reputable woman of substance that she is. As always, I welcome you at home to join us on this episode, and I also want to acknowledge my wonderful audience who take time week in, week out to sit with us as we discuss contentious issues that affect and affect the women of this great nation. So karibuni sana. Now, to start us off today, let's start from the beginning. You know, Tell us, who is Senator Hamida Kibwana? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your life. Mpaka pale tumefika saizi. The floor is yours, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Ashiko. Thank you for inviting me here. It's quite an honor, and I love the audience. It's such an opportunity, of course, to speak to such audience. My name is Hamida Kibwana, Senator Hamida Kibwana, nominated senator for Nairobi. My journey, well, I would say, I don't know what at times when people talk about, when you talk about humble background, what they mean by humble background. But I would say, yes, it was, for me, maybe it has 2 or 3 meanings. But I just went to a normal school called New Pumwani Primary School in an area called Kamukunji, California. Is in New Pumwani. So I went to that school, then secondary school. I went to, my parents were very strict and in terms of religion, so my mother insisted, no, you're going to a Muslim school. So I went to a Muslim girls' school. It was one of those schools, you know, like one of the best schools at that time, and it was an Indian school. I studied there, then I went to Asombi High School. I did my A-levels. It was those during our times, you know, as people on the 5th floor had to go to, you know, high school, the Form 5 and Form 6. Yeah, then I went to college before I went to university. I went to Kenya Poly. I tried many things. I went to Kenya Poly. I did stuff. And by the way, I got a job before I went back to university. Yeah, so I started working. Then I joined ECK, Electoral Commission of Kenya. I remember I was appointed a returning officer when I was between 25 and 27 years old, while the criteria was 40 years old.
Wow.
And my constituency was one of the largest constituencies in Kenya. That is Embakasi. Embakasi was the largest constituency in Kenya. Now it's divided into 4. And I remember I actually advised the commission on that. At that time, I worked with the late Kivuitu, Samuel Kivuitu, and my Nairobi commissioner was the late Margaret Kenyatta, and others. To my surprise, I applied to one of the countries as elections advisor with the UN, UNDP. And I got a job in Sierra Leone. I joined UNDP. The first year I joined as a UNV, they call it UNV. Of course, you're paid salaries, but then of course low salary compared to the professionals.
Of course.
For about 1.5, it was about 1.5, 2 years I was in Sierra Leone. And trust you me, the experience that I had in Kenya changed, you know, the whole perception in UN. You know, in the UN, I realized most of them had no first-hand experience. They were only employed as elections advisor. But the experience, you know, like being a presiding officer, a clerk, that's how I started actually with the ECK. I started as a clerk, presiding officer, you know, then, you know, managed to, and I moved ahead to a returning officer. And I was moving, of course, toward the coordinator. So after we had very successful elections in Sierra Leone. From there, I went to Afghanistan.
Oh, wow. Madam, you're moving from one danger zone to another, from the frying pan to the fire.
From Sierra Leone, I moved to Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, it was such an experience. Now, in Afghanistan, I was promoted from a UNV. I became a professional in UN called P1, P2, P3. And so I just didn't go to P1. I was taken, you know, I shot to P3. Actually, I was surprised when I got the nomination. When my party leader considered me as to be nominated. It was quite a surprise because this one, of course, is held until the elections are over, then the names are unleashed. And I was among the top 3. Of course, I you know, I was quite, should I say, it was quite overwhelming. I mean, the joy and, you know, to serve as nominated senator. And by the way, when you talk about nominated, there's no difference of nominated and elected when you get to that house.
Aha.
You know, almost all the, should I say, you discharge your duties as equal.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're one among equals. And only at times there are certain votes that when you do impeachment of the county, those of governors, then that's the only area that, you know, you cannot vote. But
Yes.
you vote with your delegation. I think, Ashiko, I've really given you a whole full story of the story of my life.
Yeah, but I love it. It is so well put. And you know, even the way you've just explained the step by step as to how you got to, you know, it's rather obvious. You know, did you always want to become a public servant? If it was not for the job that you got at ECK when you were younger, you know, was this a road that you thought you would have found yourself on?
No. By the way, my mother was a politician, I would say, and she was a councillor for many years. But I never thought I hated politics. I hated politics to have seen, you know, what you went through. I feel that you are less privileged because, you know, she served, you know, so many, her ward, her constituents, and we never had time for ourselves, you know. You'd find it very early in the morning, by 5:30 in the morning, everyone is queuing.
Kuna laini huko.
Kuna laini, kila mtu yuko na shida yake, nini, and they'll leave our house. And at that time, you know, councillors never had their own offices, so they only had city hall. So they would just come to your, to your home. And so they would leave around midnight, and you have to study. You know, you need your life. And so we never had a life. And I swear, I said, no politics. Mimi hakuna hapo. And here I am. I became, you know, a senator, and I went into politics after 17 years of my mother's demise, you know. So I'm saying, if she woke up one day and found me, you know, in this, nilikwambia, because
so some things rubbed off, even though it is subconsciously.
So you can't believe, I hated, it's just fate. I found myself there.
You found yourself there.
Yeah.
So in the 2 decades of experience that you have had, if we were to talk about some of the challenges that you not only you have experienced, but, you know, in respect to, we focus on women, what do you think, what are some of the challenges that female legislators normally go through?
Oh, it's such a lot. Challenges, of course, one is if you really have to have a heart. Intimidations, you go through intimidations, you go through challenges. You know, you're abused, you're called old names. You know, bad names are the order of the day, you know. And when they find you aggressive and they wonder, when you know, why is she behaving that? It's like you're not supposed to, exactly. So you really have to have a heart to fight all this. You know, you have to have the will and power. By the way, ukiwa na nini kidogo, just keep off. You know, if you can't stand the heat,
stay out of the kitchen.
Stay out of the kitchen.
What are some of the challenges that you have encountered that are faced by maybe women and girls in marginalized communities? You know, that's an area that is very dear to you.
Lack of education, and that is, of course, it depends on, you know, coming for those, you know, humble backgrounds, that one a parent is given a choice to choose whether, you know, to educate a male or a female, and they pick on, of course, the boys and not the girl. Huyu msichana atapigwa bei, ataolewa, so then you have early marriages. Things like FGM also, they're such, you know, they hold back girls. I was just in one of the forum the other day, and they'll tell you how, you know, you're put there, you cannot move, you're being told, no, you're not a woman enough, you have to go, if you've not, So at times, you know, and immediately after circumcision, some of them, then you get married. So your life is done, you know. So what else, you know, are you looking for? We're fighting for the 2/3. Ashiko, as I'm seated here, I remember the crazy things that we did to get the 2/3.
Yes.
And I remember at one time when they were discussing the WACO draft on the Constitution. And so we had to lobby the men and said, no, women have to be, you know, inclusive of women in terms of the 2/3. We have to garner the 2/3. Do you know, it was such a struggle. So I remember at one time we said, no, look, to get this 2/3, going into WACO draft, they were going to Mombasa to do the last draft. So we decided, no, even us, we are coming in. So what did they do? We had to mobilize and get tickets. Another time, unajua tunakanyaga, hatuna kitu, you're taking matatu, you are not sure whether, you know. So so they buy their own tickets, of course, you know, Parliament at that time, and they're going to Mombasa to discuss. So we had to mobilize coffers, donors, whatever. Yeah. So we get tickets to go to Mombasa, and he said, we're boarding the same flights. Yes, the same plane that they're boarding, that's where we are. So now they're seated, imagine, next to us, na tunawangalia.
No, so no monkey business is going to take place. Not
no,
on
and
watch.
Yes, and we are lobbying them. Hey, Mheshimiwa. So we agreed. Well, whom are you approaching? Says, me, Tuju. I grew up with Honorable Tuju. I'll take him. I know my Honorable Commander. I'll take him. I know, you know. So you divide on who you're comfortable with, and we start discussing. Hapana, see 2/3 tu mutuangalie, muingize kitu yoyote ya wanawake ndani, so that, you know, we can garner. And to be honest, let me tell you, for me to be nominated, I hold my head high. You know, it wasn't if it wasn't me, then who? Because I fought for this one. So so we actually fought, and I remember then at one time we said, whichever hotel they're going to, then we're also going to book ourselves there. And let me tell you, we reserved ourselves there. I said, sijui they're going to Sun and Sand, hata si tutakuwa hapo. Then tunaambia, mumeona, munaweza kutufanya. So we actually lobby.
Bumper to bumper now.
To bumper. we invite them for breakfast meetings early in the morning. Yes. So that day that they were going to discuss, we said, even as we are coming to Parliament. So some of the members of Parliament, Kina Charity Ngilu and Martha Karua, they said, no, let's invite the women, let them come to the gallery. And so we were there looking at them like, what are you discussing? You know, what discussions are you discussing that the 2/3 are not, you know. But we thank God that, you know, bado tutasema afadhali mkate nusu, you know, bado kwa sasa.
Kuliko
kukosa.
Kabisa.
So we have the 1/3 and we're still fighting for more. You know, but I'm sure we're going to get there.
Absolutely. Yes. And I feel like some of these sessions are so important so that even anyone who's watching you at home can actually know the journey it actually took for some of the liberties that women and girls are enjoying till date. Now,
please, let me tell you this story. I remember, so when we had to do drama, so we were being told by men, sasa kupata hii 2/3 na nini na hii constitution lazima ibadilike. So we'll fight with you. But you know what? The women are never hit before. So let's have you women walk ahead of us. Then sisi tuko nyuma. So they start hitting the men. So nyinyi mtutapiga makelele, nyinyi mtaendelea, but hawatawagusa nyinyi. So ni sisi ndio watatushika. But then you guys bado at least will make the name that tutatokea kwa news that at least we have done something.
Yes.
So we decided to, sawa, sisi ndio wao, viongozi tukaenda mbele. So watch out when these guys came. Yeah? See, to me, I'm saying, they won't touch
they
us.
They can't beat women,
no,
yes.
No, let them go back to, but hey, they started with us. We were hit hard.
Oh dear.
We were hit hard. Walitukanyaga, tulichapwa. You know, and so you know,
don't you have mothers?
I tell you, and then you're thrown kwenye hiyo magari hivyo nini huko juu. Mariamu mmerusha huko juu. So it was such a journey, you know, we all laughed at one time.
Yeah.
And I remember one of our colleagues, I can't remember what was her name. You know, in fact, they even held one leg, moja na moja imehang na kila kitu na mkono. Wameshika tu mguu moja. They were hanging with one. It was that bad.
And that time you might be in a skirt.
Yes, luckily she was in trousers.
Oh, thank God.
But for us who were in skirts, tuliumizwa, tukarushwa huko ndani, then of course police station na nini na mambo ingine. Like I'm saying, it's quite a journey. And the ladies also, I would say, the girls, you should be proud of yourselves that at least you've been represented well by women.
Absolutely.
Our voices were heard.
The voices were heard. You know, even just before we go on a break, so, you know, last week, you know, the Senate recently adjourned so that you can discuss the issue of femicide and the rising cases that are happening. What's your take on this, Mheshimiwa?
Ashiko, you know, I'm yet to understand what is happening in Kenya. And in Senate, if you see my clip, I asked, have we been left to the dogs? That's where we are. This femicide thing, we don't understand. Femicide, but then now, also inclusive of men. I have my own neighbor,
Yes.
Willis Ayeko,
Yes.
who was working the Wells Fargo.
Yes.
And I think you've seen, of course, it's trending. He's actually my neighbor and his wife is a good friend of mine.
Yes.
Look, his body was mutilated badly. Until now, the other day we were seeing some of them in his sleep. You know, the videos going
Yes,
around.
the ladies, yes.
The lady and the maid is just going ahead with her stuff. Yet, you know, the girl is being killed, the other side.
Yeah.
Where have we gone wrong? You know, even apart from the police itself, what is happening
As society.
as society? You know?
Yeah.
So what have we done? Then, of course, I feel strongly that we have lost it. But then why are you killing our girls, the women? What is happening? I mean, it's Lee, a whole mother and, you know,
And her daughter and her niece.
You know,
You know, those are generations that have just been cut short.
So I feel there's something, it is so unfortunate that as society we have lost it completely. Because by the time you know you're terminating someone, this is another life, you know, you can imagine itself. And you're not guilty, everything is going on TV, unasema, but ni mimi nilifanya hiyo kazi. And you can, you know, so you can imagine how bad it is.
You know.
Yeah, so we are trying to, we have summoned again the DCIs again, and they told us we give them time so that
To carry out the
investigations. But until now, to be honest, it is very sad.
It is.
The IGs, the whoever, they're not coming with actually, you know, the answers that we want to hear. So it's really unfortunate. I don't know, and that's what I'm saying. The country is looking up to us, and that's why we had to adjourn. We adjourned. Senator Eddie and I adjourned Parliament. Was it on Thursday? And we said no, we are not discussing anything. At 5:30, we all agreed to adjourn and focus and discuss about this femicide thing. It's a thorn in the flesh.
It truly is. We are going to take a short break and then we'll be back for the question and answer session. Please don't go far away. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is a Trailblazer edition of Dadas show with the Honorable Senator Hamida Kibwana. I hope you are learning a thing or two as to why she is actually our Trailblazer in this particular edition. So we will carry on with a question and answer session where our wonderful audience gets an opportunity to, to interact with our esteemed panelists. Now, to actually start us off or to pick up from where we were during the break, we did talk about charity beginning at home, especially in the cases of femicide. And we cannot just turn all our glances on the authorities and say, what are you people doing, etc. Without sounding like it is victim shaming. What advice do you have for the young ladies? Because you did mention something about, you know, where has our morality gone? But just the safety precautions and the measures that young ladies should put in place so as to not find themselves as victims of femicide. Of course, bad luck happens and some circumstances happen, but what do we need to put in place so that we can be able to protect ourselves a little bit more?
I'll just say the girls to take care of themselves. I have my daughter who is almost the same age as the audience. And I keep on, you know, talking to her. The other day, I was passing through town. And I think there's the Continental Hotel and GPO and the rest. And the town, I thought it was another mandamano. So you see the girls and the boys are all there dancing and doing stuff, you know. So then I was saying, I wish this energy could have been, you know, directed somewhere else. Can we, when I talk about, can we take, you know, what, at times you say what a woman can do, you know, what a man can do, a woman can do best. But there are other things, to be honest, you can't.
Absolutely.
When our boys are going partying and the girls also want to do the same, at times, you know, you find yourself at the wrong time. Take care of yourselves. The other thing, don't rush for, you know, material thing. Our girls nowadays, niko na mbabas. You know, you're so proud of that. And you find them with TikToks, oh, sijui mbabas, amenipeleka Mombasa. Kwa nini akupeleke? You can take care of yourselves, you can take yourself. You understand? Why would you think that only men can do that? And some of us didn't grow to that. And where can't I take myself now? You know, it's because lazima uvumilie kidogo, work hard, work smart, and you'll be able to take care of yourself. Nobody has to buy you anything. Nobody has to, you know, you buy yourself a car, you buy yourself everything. You'll prosper. Buy yourselves, and you really don't have. Seriously, if we tell you our ladders, how we climbed our ladders, with no support, no assistance, no mbabas behind you, you know, so just be smart, take care of yourself. How you dress also matters. Look, how you present yourself matters. Some of them, you know, the other day we were coming out of the plane and one of my colleagues was saying, sasa huyu anampelekea nani, you know, mini hot pants, you know, you're wearing a panty like this, more or less. I mean, this is a girl, seriously. The beauty of it is that how you cover yourself. Wacha mtu aanze kutaka kujua uko ndani ya, you know, iko nini. Lakini sasa wewe umetoa kila kitu iko open na unatembea nayo open. Kwa nini? Kila mtu atataka kushika. You understand? So be, you know, just feel valued.
Yes.
You know, you're such a treasure. Seriously, today, me mgenirudisha 20 years younger. You know, the life that I would have lived.
Life, yeah.
Yes, that you only need to take care of yourselves, where you go, where you do. I mean, this is happening. So just the way we took ourselves na COVID. Muliona COVID, so we had to wear the masks, right?
Yeah.
So now that you know femicide is real, why would you take yourselves out?
Absolutely.
Why would you expose yourself to such?
Yeah.
Keep off.
Yeah, take the necessary precautions. And
Exactly.
asante sana mheshimiwa, and that is extremely well put. I like what you've said about know your value. You know your worth. Know that, you know what, this is what I stand for, and I am not going to trade, and I'm not going to settle, and I'm not going to compromise for 2,000 shillings, for 10,000 shillings. There's nothing like fast cash. So, I mean, especially in light of the rising cases of femicide, I would urge all the young ladies who are out there, value yourself, always keep tabs with your friends and your family wherever you may be. Always be very cognizant of your surroundings. Look around you, where are you? Look at where the exits are. Identify somebody who can be able to help you. Let people know where you are, and over and above it all, take care. As Mheshimiwa said, be very careful. Asante sana for that. So we will move over to the first question or comment from our wonderful audience. And we will start by the gentleman at the front. Karibu sana. Tell us your name and your question, please.
Thank you so much. My name is Josh, and my question goes to Mheshimiwa. I would like to ask what are some of the projects that, or I'd say programs that you're currently involved in?
Where I've come from and my profession, actually, I'm really a technical person. So seriously, I'm sure most of you know, when you're watching our debates and all that, I would say maybe I could not be maybe a very good debater.
Yes.
But I'm a technical person.
Yes.
That I discharge my duties very well.
Yes.
So far, I champion mental health. And mental health is such a deep-seated issue that many people don't realize. In Kenya, I don't know whether most of you know that it's criminal to try and take your life. If you decide to commit suicide and you survive, you'll be locked in, kabisa. So I'm even trying to see whether I could raise a bill to decriminalize, to change, it's just a penal code, and to do amendments to decriminalize suicide. Because why would someone, instead of being taken to a mental health facility, imagine you're locked in.
You're taken to prison.
You can still kill yourself.
Absolutely.
Inside. So you're saying, can we decriminalize? But then mental health is key. So that's what I try to champion. I've done about 2 motions in Parliament. One, mental health for police officers. Can you imagine police officers? As much as, tutasema ni wabaya, but when you guys are hitting them hard, you can imagine what they go through. This police officer, of course, they keep on, it is so real. Look at their salaries. How much do they get? How do they sustain this, with their families? And so you find the same person, a dead body is there, you have the same police officer has to carry the dead body, to city mortuary. You have to handle, a burnt person, you have to do what? There you are, when it comes to Haiti, they're the ones who have been taken. You lose your lives, and your family loses. You find yourself going back to your house on a 1-room, house, and you have about 4 or 5 children, and you're sharing the same house, So seriously, the mental health cannot be stable. We lost lives. You as our children, we lost lives. That's why we're even fighting, hey, Jameni, just stop this because we don't want to lose more lives. And they didn't care. Iko moja, I think I remember at one time on TV, they're saying, moja was saying, si mwachana naye. Moja akasema, si unaona vile mnao wenzako. Kamwambia, by the way tunataka kuua wengine. So don't disturb us, tutaua. So you can imagine how, but then look at that person, definitely the mental health is not, stable enough.
Yeah.
Then mental health for postpartum depression.
Yes.
Many women, when they give birth, you go through some kind of, depression. So we have the postnatal depression, postpartum depression, especially at times when you have lost a baby and you have carried this baby for 9 months. So it comes out as still and you have lost. Then imagine you're put in the same ward with a woman who's lactating.
Imagine.
You understand? Who has given birth, mtoto yuko sawa. Now you've lost your baby, you're being told, kaa hapo kwanza upone, and you don't have your baby. So saying, that mental health, I was even urging the counties to have separate wings, for such mothers. Yeah. So mental health for girls who have been raped. Imagine, rape is not a good thing. You wouldn't even say, hakuna mtu atasema ati ulijitakia, hakuna mtu anaweza kujitakia, So imagine you're raped and society, you think that the society, of course, will shift the blame, so you don't want to talk, you can't discuss anyhowly. There's even rape in marriage. Imagine you're a married person and you end up in a place and you're getting raped. How do you tell your husband that you've been raped? You understand? It's a difficult, so such, mental health issues and depressions and whatnot, and even the gender, it's both gender.
Yes. You
men, most of the time, you don't have a job, you don't know what, umejaribu, umehustle, maisha imekuendea vibaya, what do you do? Let me just do, and your patience. Us, we went through crazy things and you could still survive. Unapigo, unachapa, una survive. Lakini, of course, you're quite delicate. And we say parents were squeezy. Me, I don't blame watoto wa squeezy. It's parents who are squeezy. Sisi tumewalelea vibaya. Instead of your daughter doing stuff, ameshika simu, we mama uko kwa kitchen, uko kwa kitchen unapika, lakini na yeye yuko kwa simu ameweka miguu juu, and they're saying mommy, daddy, you know, these mummies and daddies ndio tumewaribu pia nyinyi kidogo. So we end up, so mental health, I'm doing mental health. Such motions, I have raised many statements. I'm in health committee. Apart from even being in the health committee, I've raised many statements regarding also health. Ashiko said, I am a technical person.
Yes.
Me, I look at things. I would watch TV and I would tell my staff and my PA seated there, and they would find, I think, very late at night saying, no, we are doing a statement on this issue.
Yes.
We are doing a motion on that, you know, we are doing stuff on that, and I have a very, very supportive team.
Yes. That,
okay, I throw this on you, let's think, is
yes.
it, you know, feasible, or am I? So I'm doing motions, I'm doing statements. I've tried many times when you talk about KEWOSA, Kenya Women Senators, I chair Kenya Women Senators, and so we don't have any funding. So I try, you know, to draw funding from different organizations, different people, just to train, because our work is oversight. So we go down, train the MCAs and everything, you know. Most of us maybe, you know, we are, it's the first timers in parliament.
Exactly.
You may not know how to execute.
Yes.
So we train ourselves, you know, capacity building on how Senator Sifuna tasimama na mimi tasimama, you know, Ledama tasimama na mimi tasimama.
Yeah.
So I may not have that voice to, you know, to debate and story in the end, but then I would have my power to do a bill.
Absolutely.
So I have bills also, like I said, decriminalization. I want to do that bill amendments. I did a very good e-health bill. E-health bill nimetengeneza for 2 years. I've gone to Turkey and India, and I've seen best practice, what has been done. You know what? After my bill was ready, the government took over my bill.
Oh.
They decided this is no longer your bill, we are taking the bill. What does that mean? It was a very good bill.
Exactly,
right?
It's very complimentary.
So they turned it into they turned it into the digital health bill. So the digital health bill is my bill.
Wow.
And 85% plagiarism from my bill.
Oh.
They took over my bill. Then I have this PFM bill where counties, you know, they have to have their own source revenue and all that. You know, you have a county. Don't expect the national, from the national, you know, government to be feeding, to spoon feed you. So, you know, like, let us see how you can have your own source revenue and all that. I have done that amendment the other day. Then I'm being told then the government wants to take that bill again. You know, so imagine in parliament you have sat umekaa umetengeneza hizi bill, then when the government takes over the bill, then you remain with nothing. So you have to have a buffer on other bills. So then I have nuts and oil bill, whereas, you know, we have a tea bill, we have coffee bill, we have rice bill, we have cotton bill, we have all the, even mang bill. Mang, mnajua ni nini? Mang ni dengu. We even have the dengu bill. So I said, what about the coast people? We grow
a lot of nuts. There's a lot of nuts.
There's coconut. There's cashew nut. You know, there are other nuts, and you know, even in other areas they have macadamia. You know, they have sunflower. Like we were just in Lamu, public participation, sunflower, jojoba, and all the others. But then, you know, we don't have a bill for that one. So can you imagine coconut? The Tanzanians come and pluck coconut from Kenya. Their marketing managers are Kenyans. They take advantage of Kenya coconuts because, of course, we don't have a bill, so there's no board, there are no regulations.
Yes.
And they sell to us the same coconut called Azam. You find Accra, Kara, and Azam, and the Azam is all Tanzania. And imagine we don't have any coconut made from Kenya. Imagine.
And yet we grow it
here.
Yeah, that is definitely something that
so
needs to be.
And I have many other amendment bills, like mental mother, Senator Ogola's bill.
Yes.
It's regarding the mother and what bill You should remind me. Anyway, so many other, and I have many more. So for me, I'm a technical person. You find me on TV watching and researching and saying, look, this is what I want to do. I've been privileged, you know, to have been. I joined a steering committee of one of the organizations called Unite. It deals with health issues, health matters. And I find myself being invited in different countries, you know, to champion such. But then at the end of the day, I champion, you know, it's all about Kenya.
Yes.
I've been nominated as parliamentary women representatives on the IMF and World Bank board.
Wow.
So far, you know, I should be serving 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So I find myself championing and, you know, in such places, and I ask myself, how did I find myself? You know?
Wow, but we are definitely
things.
so happy that you're there, and we are watching you as women, as Dadas Show viewers, as Dadas Show, and we are so encouraged by the work that you've put in, and we are definitely wishing you the best on that.
Give me one minute to say what we have tried to do with in Kewasa. Kewasa, what we championed first was we decided to go to prisons.
Yes.
And the women prisons, we decided, no, let us try and first, you know, contribute, have our own, draw some money.
Yes.
And our own, and pay for the, what are they called?
The inmates.
The inmates.
Yes.
You know, imagine a woman is there for only 2,000. Girimbili.
Imagine.
2,000 or 3,000, and she's locked in for 4 months. Imagine an asemati, you know, they just came for me and I left my children, 4 children, a single mother, and she doesn't know where her children are. And you have girls there, and she's locked in for 4 months just because she had a fight with a neighbor and whatever, and you're locked in for only 2,000, and she's unable to pay 2,000. So far we have freed about almost 100 and something women.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is from Nairobi, Langata women, Eldoret, and now we even wanted to go to Mombasa. So I said, this journey will not stop. And you find, you know, and we're saying, how can we even help them beyond, you know, after, you know, after the prison thing? So can we pay something so that you could start up a small business to help yourself? So that journey, I love that journey because you can see you're imparting lives, you know, and helping women. We are trying to partner with different countries. I have advocated, we are trying to discuss, like UAE has reached out to us and Qatar to see how they can support us.
Yes.
So empowering a woman, you know, like training, having mentorship, you know, for the young girls.
Yeah.
Actually, it's gender. Both girls. We don't discriminate.
Yes.
And trying to have that mentorship, having capacity building. And one of the things that I've seen, and it has really touched my heart, having an IT hub. An IT hub where you'd create jobs. And once you start up, you know, in 3 months, then you move out. And I saw this through Senator Chesang,
Yes.
Alan Chesang in Kitale, and I just thought it was a very good idea. And that's my dream to start, in fact, as soon as possible.
Yes.
That have all these laptops, and he's given jobs, you know, you do your work, and after 3 months or 6 months of you getting to understand it, you can even work from home and then bring others, you know. So every time, you know, have a kada of about 100, you know, young people doing the work, you know, but creating jobs. It's all about creating jobs.
It's all about creating jobs, and that's exactly where the world is heading. So the more digital, the more technical. So you're definitely in the right path, and we definitely applaud you for that. We're going to quickly move on to our next question from Lillian.
My name is Lillian. What piece of advice would you have for a young girl who lives in the village who aspires to be like you?
Oh wow, nice.
Wow, Lillian, that's a good question. Being in the village, it doesn't mean that it stops you from getting to where we are. if you get to understand, most of the honorable members all come from the village. You know, they studied there, and they're the ones who have aspired. If Babu Owino gave you stories, you know, he came from actually a slum called Nyalenda. You know, if someone like, you know, maybe Dr. Nikal will tell you, you know, they all came from. I think it's about what do you want to be?
Yes.
You know, what aspirations do you want to have? You know, you can take a cow to drink water, but then you can't force that cow to drink water.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that you need to focus. And this is early, maybe mentorship. And maybe some parents, you know, will not have the skills. You understand, when we're talking about home. Whereas, you know, the girl would just be, you know, they would insist on the girl going to the shamba and doing stuff. But then it's all about what do you want to be. That's what I'm saying. The first thing I said, mentorship. We would want to mentor as many. Whom do you want to be? I mean, for me, my focus was, I have seen ABC, I want to be like her. Like now, we just talked about women presidency, and I'm seeing Allah. See, Suluhu is managing.
Yes.
She's managing very well. Why wouldn't I be in that position,
Yes.
you know? And she's just humbly doing it.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't some of us do? It's all about your mind and focusing and saying, itawezekana. Nitaweza kuwa in the same space that anyone else is. Lillian, if you aspire to be on this seat, like me, I swear you will. You will be. For me, I found myself just moving with hiyo mutaratara. Ati kuna nini naenda, you know, kuna nini kazi naenda, as long as you know it takes me there.
Yes.
Come close to us, we don't buy it. You know, and we don't, you know, we really encourage most of you that, okay, what do we have? How, you know, how are we doing it? If there's any program, can we involve you, you know, in such programs? Wake up and smell the coffee.
Wow.
Okay?
Yes.
But we shall support you. My aim is to do that as Kenya Women Senators, and we shall be coming to universities, we shall be going to colleges, we shall be doing, I love what they have now, TVET. TVET is that, you know, sio lazima ati university, sio lazima usome. This one is giving you skills. I saw in Zimbabwe, and I had a house help from Zimbabwe. They had such TVETs. And she's so skilled on being a house help. Nyumba hata mtu akitoka anarudi anafuta. Mali umegusa anarudi anaosha. You know, they're so clean, they're so thorough from the South Africans. It's because they go through also, you know, TVET. Zamani you had carpenters, mechanics and everyone. Wale wote wame learn through such skilled labor. So let us, you know, Qatar is coming up with saying that we want about 3,000 young people, you know, who are, and then in Doha, ukiingia to airport ya Doha, everyone is Kenya Sheng. All the staff are Kenyans. You can't believe all the staff, and they say, we don't care, hata kama tukiwa na wote, we shall employ Kenyans. So you people, apart from your skills, you're also talented. Kenyans are loved in many countries. You know, we have our own cultural, you know, discipline and all that. Na ya kufanya kazi, na nguvu ya kufanya kazi. So let us see, you know, put your efforts where you would wish to be one day.
Wow.
Buy your car, Lillian, usidanganywe na mbabas na kijana, you get pregnant na nini. Hiyo itakuja. Yeah, raha itakuja baadaye, lakini sasa kula shida kwanza. And then once you have everything, your money, what else, what can't you buy?
Yes. I love that. You know, invest, put yourself in the right rooms, apply that energy to somewhere good. Asante sana. Those are such pearls of wisdom. Now, our final question briefly, Gweth, karibu.
My question is, currently as a nominated senator, what do you aspire to do next in your political career?
Yeah, Gweth, that's an excellent question. You know, you've talked about Suluhu, you know. Are we seeing you next presidential election? Itakuwa hapo. What are your aspirations? What next for you, Mheshimiwa?
God willing, God willing, that I might aspire to be the next member of parliament or even county. The 2 years, I really wanted to concentrate on my technical work, that I want to make a name. I want to have Hamida bill, you know. I want to to impact lives in terms of health issues, and that's why I've come up with many statements and motions. But yes, watch this. I would say watch this space.
Wow.
From next year, God willing.
Yes.
Let's see how it's going to be.
Yes.
But it's all God's will. And if it doesn't work, what do I want to do? What have I achieved so far? I want to say like I want to look at 5 years that I have done, you know, I've gone this far, and I have left some marks. What do I want to champion? Like I said, I would wish to champion mental health.
Yes.
That today I'll have an institution with mental health issues. Mental health, it doesn't mean wazimu. Mental health means depression and many other things. And there are young people who are going through that. So I would want to see, you know, to have an institution, whereas I would assist, I would support, I would do the counseling, you know, I would do the psycho, you know, support, and have a whole institution to do that. That is actually, I keep on saying that's my future. But God willing, I wouldn't rule out, of course, vying for any kind of position, whether member of parliament or again women representative. In Nairobi, there's a big chance for doing it, but then for me, I was just concentrating on that one. So maybe you wouldn't have heard about Hamida in so many ways by screaming and doing what, but then technically I said, let me discharge my work first. But God willing, let's watch this space.
Oh, wow.
I'll be there for you.
You know, and like we started off by saying, your work definitely does speak for itself, you know, like how practical you are a solution provider. And I think as a country, that is what we are looking for. Especially for politicians, tunasikia story mingi, anasema hii. So it is such a breath of fresh air to be seated next to you to say, this is what I have done, this is what I have done. So we are seeing results. So I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Mheshimiwa, kindly give us your parting shot before we call it an episode.
My parting shot is that I'm hoping to see the Kenya we want, the change in leadership. Now that we have a deputy president, a new deputy president, I hope that the focus will shift and Kenyans will go back, because we have been politicking since after elections.
Exactly, yeah.
And it seemed like for every elections, after elections, the beginning of another election. So it's really unfortunate that the country has not moved from there. I'm hoping that the president will listen to this and focus on the country. If now that we have affordable housing, how many Kenyans will be supporting? Affordable housing comes with labor and support.
Yes.
That even, you know, we are going to create jobs for our young people. So how are they getting, you know, what is their support? Our young people, I wish, you know, we could see employment. The government will create employment for our children. My life, my better tomorrow should have, you know, come as early as yesterday to see the country grow. Thank you.
Those are pearls of wisdom from our trailblazer of the day, you know, the Honorable Senator Hamida Kibwana. So we have come to the end of today's episode. As always, let's keep in touch. Let us know what your thoughts are on this and any other episode that we've had across all social media platforms under KBC Channel 1. You can also reach us on our newly launched Facebook page at Dadas Show KBC. You can also reach me personally at Ashiko the Host across all social media platforms. So on behalf of the production team at KBC, my wonderful audience today with me, our location partner, the historical Chester Hotel and Suites, I wish you all a lovely weekend and a lovely week ahead. And please stay blessed and take care of yourself. For now, goodbye.